Of all the loud, shouty shooters you could choose to distill into a strategy-heavy action game, you'd be forgiven for putting Gears of War, or maybe lately simply Gears, at the bottom of the list. Often dismissed as big and dumb, it's a franchise of over-the-top explosions, sweaty biceps, and growled one-liners that has nevertheless stood for almost 14 years as one of Xbox's flagship properties. Still, it's easy to overlook Gears' storytelling and emotional depth when it does its best to hide it all under curb-stomp executions and meat-coated chainsaws, and yet here we are faced with Gears Tactics, the result of pouring all of that big dumb Gears of War batter into XCOM shaped mould and nuking it in an oven made from recycled lancers. What's even more surprising than the fact that they made this game at all is that it's such an exceptional pairing of genres. From the onset and throughout, Gears Tactics pushes the envelope, taking the turn-based thinking person's gameplay of Firaxis' franchise and injecting it with a swaggering confidence that is purely, quintessentially Gears. A prequel set 12 years before Dom Santiago breaks Marcus Phoenix out of prison in the first Gears of War, Tactics begins with Gabe Diaz, father of current series protagonist, wallowing in self-imposed exile as a lowly transport mechanic. Away from the front lines of the Locust War and disenchanted by the Coalition's frequent disregard for the sanctity of life, Gabe wants nothing to do with their warmongering ways, until he crosses paths with grizzled veteran Sid Redburn and stranded leader Michaela Dawn. Before long, the trio find themselves on the hunt for Yukon, the enigmatic Locust leader responsible for creating corpses and Brumacs among other toothy horrors. In true Gears fashion, the plot clicks along at a steady pace, and developers Splash Damage and the Coalition have fostered a handful of narrative twists and emotional story beats among the grunts and oorahs to catch you off balance. For a tactics game, it also packs in a surprising amount of cinematic cutscenes to keep you invested in the plot. What's both truly bizarre and hugely relieving is that at times you'll forget you're playing a turn-based strategy game at all. That may sound like hyperbole, but Tactics is so authentically dyed-in-the-wool Gears of War that the genre almost doesn't matter. Your Gears roadie run from point to point and slam into cover, and when the camera shifts to an over-the-shoulder perspective for a critical hit, you'll swear you're seeing the old Gears you know and love. But it's not just about authenticity and familiarity, it's also about confidence, and this may be the first game in the genre that can genuinely teach XCOM a thing or two. You'll usually field a squad of 4, but that changes dependent on the mission. Sometimes you'll deploy a single gear into a map and will need to find and rescue allies as you go. Each round your units have 3 action points to spend on moving, shooting, using an ability and reloading. The addition of the 3rd action point makes a powerful difference, as you'll often be outnumbered 3 or 4 to 1 by the Locust forces. Your squad will be comprised of a combination of 5 distinct classes: Support, Vanguard, Heavy, Sniper and Scout, who bring a variety of skills and abilities to the battlefield. For example, the Sniper is pretty self-explanatory, but the Vanguard is a full frontal assault trooper able to buff itself and alloys, while Support can use stims and stim grenades as well as healing abilities, and the Scouts carry Nasher shotguns and can enter into a cloak state to move undetected. Each class has 4 fairly compact skill trees, branching out from a central hub skill, and specialising in any tree creates a lethally efficient presence on the battlefield, whilst cherry-picking abilities and upgrades offers a great deal of flexibility. I'm not sure yet whether theory crafting is possible or useful here, but there are so many skills that not only stack with each other but work together across classes that there's genuine potential for build diversity, especially once you have an established go-to squad. More often than not, you'll be using Gabe, Sid or Michaela in most missions, but the empty spots are filled up with fully customizable gears who you recruit or rescue along the way. These troops can be tweaked and altered with a huge variety of cosmetics that grows as you advance the story, throwing up anything from blue-dyed mohawks to eye patches, full-sleeve tattoos and handlebar mustaches. The level of customization is impressive, and there are no microtransactions whatsoever, and it helps you become fully invested in the plight of each soldier, so much so that losing one in a mission is painful, and not least because you'll need to train and level a replacement. XP levels come pretty slowly too. You unlock 2 skill points each level and can respec if you've earned the credit to do so. But on top of this, tiered loot offers better armour, torso, legs and head, and a selection of mods and add-ons to each weapon which, for instance, increase accuracy or damage, or add passive skills that reduce grenade cooldowns or increase regeneration. As you move across the battlefield, it's easy to forget there's a grid system at work, as environments look as though they've been lifted directly from the Gears series, complete with waist-high cover and multiple choke points. Overwatch is a joy to behold, as each of your soldiers will simply fire until their ammo runs dry at any unit who ventures into their view cone. It's a tactical manoeuvre that's far more than just something to do with the last action point. Setting up a crossfire and letting the enemy come to you, or forcing them to advance to a chosen front, are viable tactics, but the enemy has all the tricks you have, and locust snipers that pin down your soldiers or enemy troops who weave patterns of bright red kill zones over your squad are a menacing challenge. Emergence holes spew new enemies onto the battlefield, or else troop carriers drop them off, and every locust from the previous titles makes an appearance, from tickers, yes, by the way you can kick them, to boomers. Objectives vary by mission and side mission, and range from simple sweep and clears to rescue missions, supply runs, sabotage operations, and scavenger hunts conducted as nemesis nuke the level behind you block by block. The highlights, though, are the boss fights. These multi-stage battles against single, huge enemies like the Brumak and Corpser keep you constantly moving and balancing your skills and abilities while fending off the reinforcements of standard enemies and dodging devastating area of effect attacks. Each of these had me on the edge of my seat throughout, and are yet another example of the developer's ability to take risks even outside of their comfort zone. Sadly, you can't replay missions as and when you choose, and so there's no option to overlevel your squad to make future encounters easier, and a checkpoint autosave system puts paid to easy save scumming. While permadeath is a feature, each of your gears has a second wind ability that allows them to self-revive once, while certain skills allow them to revive one another when downed. Executing enemies, on the other hand, will always refund an action point unless a mission modifier says otherwise. You will feel less helpless and more in control here than any other turn-based tactics game, yet the difficulty remains a steady challenge throughout, and if it's not tough enough for you, you can always ramp it up to insane at any time. Running Gears Tactics on a GeForce RTX 2060 Super graphics card, I only noticed an occasional slight dip in frame rate, even with everything set to ultra or maximum, with the added textures, reflections and shadows, which add a heap of depth to the world. The detail in the environments and character models is exceptional, though I will say that the cutscenes don't seem quite on par with Gears 5. Almost, but not quite. Even in the dark and desperate moments where my enemy is encroaching, my units are pinned by snipers and I can't land a hit to save my life, Gears Tactics is exceptionally good. Sure, every minute of the downtime between missions is spent altering your soldiers' hairstyles and armor tints as opposed to, say, building and upgrading a base, but there is enough content here and a wide enough variety that all you'll want to do between missions is get to the next mission. Gears Tactics does an incredible job of mixing the loud, brash action with strategy and caution to deliver one of the most satisfyingly playable games of the last few years. Everything about it oozes confidence, from the story and mission design to the fast-paced, flashy combat. This is more than just another tactics game, and far, far beyond a reskinned XCOM. It's Gears of War all the way through to its emotion-soaked core, and arguably sets the bar for the genre going forwards. Yes, it's big and brash and loud at times, but it's also deep, intelligent and balanced, with all the heart and passion we've come to expect from a Gears game. Hi, Adam from GodIsAGeek.com here. Hope you enjoyed Mick's Gears Tactics review. We'll all be holding out for this on console if we don't have a PC, but I'll be playing it on PC Game Pass. Don't know about you. If you did enjoy this review, do hit that subscribe button, and really importantly, the notification bell, which means you never miss the next review, preview, list, guide, tips, whatever we're up to at any given time. Hey, maybe throw us a thumbs up, tell us if you're looking forward to this game in the comments, and if you really like us, follow us on Twitter or all other social media platforms via @GodIsAGeek. Thank you so much for your time, and we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.